Happy Friday, lovers. It is your girl, Mz DeeVa. Thank you so much for coming back for another hot topic and another hot podcast. Thank you so much for supporting Mz DeeVa on YouTube, on Spreaker, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and additional places where you listen to your favorite podcast at. Thank you so much. I appreciate that more than you know. Now, today's topic is we are all good at something. What we lack is the unity and support. And so I see this happening in so many different avenues, so many different aspects where, yes, people are all individually good at something. There's no way that you exist and you don't have something that you do well. Even if you say, well, I don't do anything well. Well, what you are doing well is saying that you do not have anything that you do well. So there is always something that everyone does well. And so we never are going to argue that point. There's always something that each person does well. Finding your niche is important because when you find your niche, that's what you're doing. And people are going to come against you when you do that. But that's what you do. That's your lane. And that's the lane that you enjoy being in. So just continue to do that. A lot of people I see that struggle, they're all over the place trying to be, they want to be the expert on everything that someone presents, right? So here, like when it comes to me, I'm a podcast host, right? The best thing that a podcast host can do is take the topics, present how you're going to bring your podcast, and then do that on a consistent basis from January to December, right? So many of the topics will change. You may be talking about politics, current events. You may be talking about the entertainment industry, the music industry. You may be talking about relationships and heartbreak and healing, which is my most comfortable area. But when you're a podcast host, you're going to expand out just a little bit because your audience is going to broaden a little bit. So you're going to expand on the topics. And then most importantly, you're going to be transparent about your journey. So when you're transparent about your journey, it may take you into discussing a lot of other things, right? But that doesn't mean that everything that you bring up, people need to begin to make that the thing that they do too. And that's the division. I'm going to do this for just a moment. For my listeners, I have listeners that come from all backgrounds. I have listeners that come from all cultures. I have listeners that tune in from India. I have listeners that tune in from the UK. I have listeners that are in the United States, in multiple states. So I have people everywhere. But as my listeners are used to me doing, it's important in my sisterhood that I speak to Black America. So I'm always having a direct message that sometimes I will just target right at my people because I think my people should speak to my people in the best way and encouraging the best way. Sometimes we can see each other eye to eye, right? So I do my best when I see things. I'm not the scaredy cat in Black America, right? Ain't a bad bitch in Black America that can whoop the diva ass. So I don't mind saying things, right? So there are things sometimes that need to be said, right? But I really just say, look, I'm not here to fight you. I'm just here to say, look, maybe we haven't been doing it good because if we have been doing it well, why are people dying in their 50s and their 60s? When other cultures are seeing people live to 100. So we could argue the facts all day, but then you got to look at the individuals that you lost that passed away in their 50s and 60s, even 70s, and say there's something about what we're doing that we need to stop resisting and listen to somebody else on the way that it should be done. And whether or not you think it's just propaganda or whether you think it's just a trending topic or that's just something that people are getting up on now, it doesn't matter. You can resist it all day, but you need to go with the facts. Does it make you feel better? I started a vegan journey, right? I don't have to argue anything 2 weeks in because with me, I'm always looking at right now D and yesterday D. Right now D feels better than December D. So I know something about it works. I have more energy. The digestion issues that were just insane on so many levels have improved. So it means that I'm tapping into something on this journey. Some of us have the skill that says I have the willpower to just change. I have the ability to say, that doesn't work, and that's not good. And even if I'm going to go against the masses, I know that that's not good. And that's likely going to make the results. Every time I go to the doctor, this is what we do. So we do a full exam, and then we also do a full blood exam, a full blood panel. And we do that full blood panel so that I can take a look at the years and see, are there changes happening? Am I getting better at the suggestions? Like sometimes emotions are my main eating problem. So if I get emotional, I'm not going to get emotional if I debate some random person that likes to argue with people all the time. I don't get emotional about that. But in my personal life, like if I get emotional, which I did in the fall, everyone knows what I went through, that if you've been paying attention, right? So I kind of got emotional, and it started packing on the pounds, right? So I was emotionally eating. So emotional eating is a thing that my doctor and we say, boop, 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 that's your thing, right? Because people, when they're around me for a week, or maybe usually when people are around me for about 3 days, they go into some kind of shock and, girl, you can eat, that's an act. But then if they stay around me for a month, they're like, okay, how do you gain weight again? Because when I eat, if I eat breakfast, I eat once. I don't do seconds and thirds. If I eat lunch, I eat once. I don't do seconds and thirds. Like I'm the type of person that once I eat, and that's it. Like I don't want multiple 4 plates. That's not where my weight comes from. So my emotional eating tends to be this. And we found the culprit because we knew in my grocery shopping, it really wasn't there. But it's like, what's the issue? My culprit is the eating out and the processed choices. Because emotionally, when I'm not in the mood, I'm not cooking. It's just DeeVa. So I'm not feel like cooking. I'm not cooking. Even on date night, if honey's cooking, that's his thing, But for me, I'm not going to go to the cooking thing if I'm feeling mentally exhausted. So it's the eating out. So once I then target that, then I'm like, okay, so what about the choices? And so just getting an interest in making better choices. And the most drastic route, of course, the detoxing is an important part of it. That was drastic within itself, and being willing to stick with that, and then also the changes came with the food. I am going to say something that foodies are probably going, I don't know if they're going to like it or hate it. It depends on the foodie. But some foodies like to say I'm a foodie and they just eat a whole bunch of crap, and you're not a foodie, you're just greedy, right? And then there's some foodies that I follow and I watch how they put things together. They're putting some really healthy foods together. They love putting the best type of healthy foods together. And I think that is really the love of food that people should have. Too many of Black America are obsessed with it tasting phenomenally salt, sodium heavy in order to say, yeah, that's good cooking. But we find out that the kind of bland taste, that's probably not a word, the kind of bland taste, that's actually better. That's better. And in the long run, but it's not, when you have that kind of bland, there's this yogurt that I took on that I've been eating, and it is, it is as bland can get. It's kind of like an almond. It's made by Silk, and it's almond, and it just doesn't even pass the vegan test 100%. Which that's the thing that I'm trying to get people to see on this vegan journey is I'm not trying to say that I eat a leaf of lettuce every day. I think that people fear that you may start getting that drastic. Hopefully their fear is that they don't want you to become an anorexic. I'm starting to sense that they fear something else, but that's something that they need to take up within themselves. But maybe they fear that you're going to become anorexic of some sort, or some kind of, started having some kind of serious health issues because they think that you're not eating at all. So that's not happening. What I'm doing is taking those meals and learning how to make those meals 100% meatless. And they are the majority of what I take in. I'm the type of person that a cup of coffee, if I have a cup of coffee, sometimes my morning starts from the moment that I, go to bed until about 2 p.m. It's just water. And then I'm like, most people say, well, I need my coffee in the morning. It depends. Like if the jobs have me out somewhere and I have to be in an admin position that's going to have me out at like 7 a.m., I'm probably going to want a cup of coffee just to deal with people in the office, right? Corporate world, you have to kind of have that up in order to not get cranky. But by the majority, it's about 2 p.m. before I start feeling like, okay, now time to have some coffee or time to have this or that. But water pretty much gets the trick done. If I feel like I didn't eat enough the night before, a banana. Like I'm just like so basic when it comes to the breakfast thing. So it's the lunch and the dinner that was really packing on the pounds in a bad way. And so I had to choose this kind of intermittent fasting life that I was really, by the experts that I see, you pretty much are doing it anyway. You're already fasting, but now let's do it with the right choices, And so in that, now I'm choosing the choices that are not heavy. So if you go to an expert, you'll find out that some people have an allergy to gluten. So that is the weight gain, and that is the fatigue, and that's the things that are making you feel anyway, right? So I said all that to say, when you find somebody, people tell me all the time, Dee, you're a rare thing. You are a rare thing, and I get it, but I don't feel like what I tap into on a daily basis is something that people can't tap into. Right? Unity and support is something that everyone can tap into. Whether you feel like I'm all over the place or not, it doesn't matter. The people that I know are all interested in different things. So unity and support says, I support the journey that you're on. Now, if you're out murdering people, fuck you, I'm turning you in. But if you are actually doing something and it is positive in light and it's making you a better person and you're seeing some things improve that you would like to share with others and that might possibly have them improve, why not? Because a lot of the sicknesses and illnesses that you hear people dealing with, mental, you can see people having mental and anxiety breakdowns and they don't understand how much of a part that food plays in that. And then a lot of people are also into the medication thing and overdoing the medication intake. A lot of people get on the diet pill thing. So those pills that have your moods going up and down and you're cranky and going in and out because you're trying to suppress your appetite, but your body's really not wanting to suppress it with a pill, right? So it's just like all these things that people are taking on. You see somebody saying, okay, that's not the way to do it. Here's a better way. Exercise is one of the key things too. I know we don't like to get out there, but like yesterday, it's freezing cold here in the Denver metro area, right? So it's just cold and, the little snowflakes were coming down earlier this morning. So no, I don't want to get out. But, I'm like, okay, we all know it's Colorado. The sun's going to come up at its point. And when it comes up, it's going to be cold. Layer up, get out there because the goal is I'm going to get those walks in, right? So, just get the walk in and get it done with. And that's my motivation. Unity and support, the more that people have supporting them, in my circle, I'm the person that's always pushing the encouragement out. I'm the person that people dump all their shit on. And that's okay because that's kind of just been a part of my personality since the age of 16. So I've learned how to, with all the different psychology classes and courses and social work, studies and all that, I've learned how to balance that because people dump constantly. So sometimes people dump and they think that they're the only person that dumped for the day. And they don't realize that I've got 10 other calls that came through that dumped as well. And if my life is upbeat and I'm doing well and I'm in a happy place, I have to take those calls where people may not be where they desire to be and not make them feel less than a person for that. So to be able to do that is a skill and not everyone has it. And you have to have some compassion and lack of ego and all kind of things in order to be able to do that. So you have to have a filter on your mouth as well, right? So you have to be able to, you have to learn how to not say everything that you think needs to be said. One of the key things that I'm working with my family, my immediate family, is we're talking about words and the power that they have, right? And so when you're constantly gossiping or if you're constantly putting negative thoughts out as soon as somebody says something and you have a negative clapback. That karma is going to come back on you. So everything negative that you have to say about people, that karma is going to come back on you. Do you talk about people's hair? What happens to your hair? Do you talk about people's weight? What happens to your weight? Do you talk about people's relationships? What happens to your relationships? So you will see that life will continually give you this lesson. If you're hard-headed, you're going to keep getting this thing happening to you over and over again. Or you're going to start saying, okay, you know what? Let me unite with people. Let me support people. Let me stop being the negative clapback. Let me learn how to encourage others as I'm encouraging myself, and just learn how to put out more positive vibes. You don't have to clap your thoughts every time somebody says that they're doing something better for themselves. You don't have to do that. There are topics that come up that are open for debate. You guys are debating the hell out of R. Kelly right now. That's an open topic. Go wild with it. You know, you're debating the heck out of the Democrat candidates that are out right now for the presidential race. All this energy that you have to redirect it to the area where it's needed so that you can learn how to unite and support. I looked at a situation of a girl back home that went on one of these national singing shows. And typical of the city that she lives in, so many people didn't get on and support her through the voting process that is necessary to become the contender, the number one winner for that show. And I see people do like they're watching. They know that it's happening, but they're still not standing up and doing everything that it takes to get that person supported to the next level. When you look at the people that have made it, they've been surrounded by people that were huge on letting their shit go and supporting what that person was on the brink of doing, right? Do you need examples, right? So you don't need examples. You already know where that comes from. There are people that had people that pushed and supported, whether they had a small team of 2 or a person of 1. They found people, even if they were strangers, they found people that believed in what they were doing and were willing to support it, right? So if I have people in my friend circle and I say something and I'll give a tip, and then you go underneath my post and try to knock my tip, what side are you on? Especially if my brand is, this is what I do. No shade, just truth. Hashtag keep it real. You get where I'm coming from? So that shouldn't be the position that you put yourself in. You don't like what I have to say? Fight me about it. You can't. But you guys get where I'm coming from? So I just think that lack of unity and lack of support, that drags down Black America. Look at other cultures. You have a culture right now that they've always been on top in America. They've always had the privileged lifestyle. They've always been able to have things go their way by the majority. And they have a leader right now that's promoting that they are the best ones. And the leader is drastically disgusting in multiple aspects, right? So he's just a disgusting human being that's doing some really awful stuff, saying some awful stuff, but they unite almost by 90% are supporting him in their culture. It's not good unity, but it's unity. Black America doesn't know how to do that. Black America has to tear down everybody good. And then when it's something that's negative as that shit can get, that's what Black America will stand up and promote and support. Start thinking about that. What are you supporting and glamorizing and telling everybody about? What do you choose to tell people about? You always bypass the people that you have right there next to you doing phenomenal things just so you can go say somebody else that's more popular is doing it. Now, people that are not popular like me, I'm okay with that. Like, I know that I'm not popular, so I continue in that journey. But there are some people that are quitting in this journey, especially the podcast world. They're quitting because they think they can't do it. Why? Because you only got 5 people listening? Damn. The numbers will tell you different, right? So even when you look at a podcast and you see on YouTube 40 listeners, right? You know, on Ask DeeVa on YouTube, or you'll see like some of the topics got up to 90, or some of them get up to 105 or so. And you go, oh, she don't really got that many supporters. I live by this one thing that I saw one of my favorite people say, and I considered it as a life mentoring moment, right? So I listened to an interview where Michael Jackson once said that, yeah, he understands that he has all these crowds of people, but he said, if I have just one person show up, I'm going to give them everything that I would give a crowd of thousands. And that's this philosophy that I live by. So I continue to do what I do. I'm not going to quit this podcast game. We're at the 10-year mark. You know what I mean? Like, this April makes 10 years. So, yeah, definitely not quitting, right? So I think that uniting together and starting to see a way of supporting people without putting your negative thoughts in there. If you could just get rid of negativity, unity and support becomes almost like second nature. If you could just get rid of your negative comebacks and your negative input, you don't have to input negativity into everything. You're like a negative Betty. And if people are telling you that about you all the time, and you're always being told negative Jason, that you always got something negative to say, dude, like, why are you always inputting negative? Like, if you're always being told that, as uncomfortable as it may be, you will have to start reevaluating how you present yourself if you want a better life experience. So uncomfort zones are the places that many in Black America do not like to be in. But when we get in that uncomfortable zone and we start making the change for us, then we will see that that journey will benefit others. And that's really the whole process. Like, I don't want to take my decision to go vegan and say that everyone around me has to. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not even sure on this vegan journey whether or not I will be able to do it at 100%. Just looking at the way that the foods are prepared and everything that I'm used to, I'm just exploring it and enjoying the days that I'm accomplishing. What are we at? Day 10? So I'm just liking the results that I've seen in 10 days, right? So who knows where it's going to be? So why knock something that you don't even know where it's going to go next, right? You don't have to criticize everything that someone's doing, or put a negative spin like, that's not true. No, don't. They said that. No, what are you doing? I don't let my grandchildren do that, because that's kind of the behavior of a child. And I raise different children, as the world knows, right? I'm always telling you guys that all the time, but I don't allow that. You are a team, right? So you don't have to put the other one down in order to shine, because mommy's going to give love to everybody. Nana's here to love on us all, right? So we don't have to do that, right? And if you do feel like you do have to do that, and that's just how I am, then continue on the negative path. But what is that really doing for you? Right? So I can't fix you. I'm not trying to fix you. I have never positioned this brand nor this platform as being one that can make you a better person. That's not what I'm here for. I am here for the people that do tell me about their changes and the stories that they do share and the encouragement that they bring me and that they say that I bring them, changing one reader, one listener at a time. That's it. That's it. If I'm supposed to change the masses, I don't need your input or your help, because it's not on you. That's on God. So if I'm supposed to do that, it'll happen. Other than that, I'm just here, one person at a time. That's it. Everyone has seen that up on my social media platforms. You already know the mission. It's in the books. I've always said the same thing all the time. 10 years of doing the same subject almost, right? So we need to learn how to unite and support. And I know it's uncomfortable and no one wants to hear it, but it's the truth. Everyone has their own thing, but in 2020, some of my greatest friends are doing some of the most phenomenal things. But I've even explained to them that I'm pulling back from always branding and plugging what they're doing, so that I can use even that little bit that I was doing to just be a part of the support team. I had to pull back just a little bit to continue to build what I'm doing here. And so I'm still encouraging and supporting them, and because I know the importance of needing numbers. We all in this whole YouTube podcast world, we understand what the numbers mean and do to draw the crowds, because there are crowds that don't show up until the numbers are big. And so we all understand that on each other's platforms. So we give each other a listen and a like and a subscribe and a notification, because we understand what it means in this business. That is not that you're not good. So I don't want you quitting what you're doing. It's not that you're not any good. It's just that in this podcast, branding, book, lifestyle, social media lifestyle, people want numbers. And so when I see you guys doing something and it's something that I want to listen to, I will be there all the time. But if you're doing something that is not necessarily my thing, I'll probably just get you that like and that, get you that subscribe and that notification. And then when I see you post something, I'm going to hit it, but I may not be as active. But, I'm juggling 60 some odd people or more that are creators like myself. And so creatives like myself. And so, yeah, it's kind of hard. And to maintain a regular lifestyle that I have as well. It's a little bit hard to go out there and be there for everybody, right? So let's take a water break, hit you with an ad, come back with the final thoughts. So you can follow me on social media at Mz DeeVa for you. That is my handle on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Mz DeeVa, the number 4 YOU. You also can go to the Facebook page, hashtag ASKDeeva. You can also find that page on Instagram, hashtag ASKDeeva. For all things DeeVa, go to askdiva.onuniverse.com. Thanks, everyone. A friend to tell another friend to tune in to the Ask DeeVa show. So in essence, when it comes to unity and support, people often feel that, oh, I'm going to quit, or I'm going to give up because people aren't supporting me. That's when you need to push even harder, right? There was a point when I thought that in this podcast world, I got frustrated at a time when I really shouldn't have gotten frustrated, because it was really on top, but I thought that the people in my circle were going to support it more than they were. So I kind of fell back, but I was doing phenomenal things. Kelly Price interview, Saturday Night Live. I had a host from there, comedian from there came on, and I've had Mama DeBarge, and you guys know I've had the reality TV show guys on. So I had a lot going on, but I just pulled back from it when I just felt like I wasn't receiving the support that I needed. And I learned the lesson from even that action, as well as the journey that came with that. So don't quit. You may have to pull back. You may have to rebrand, as you've seen that happen often with the Ask DeeVa brand. I always kept the same general thing that I'm doing, but sometimes you have to throw in those fun topics, and it grabs a little bit more people that find out more about what you're doing. So I did have a listener increase by branching out from just relationships. I had thought at one point, because my highest rated show on Blog Talk Radio was the Battle of the Sexes, and I thought, I should bring it back when that fell off, when my host and I kind of fell off and went separate ways. I thought about bringing it back, but then I don't want a battle between the sexes. I don't want a war. The negative tone with that. So now it's like, yeah, it's a rebranding. So the sexes don't need to battle. And so just kind of went into rebranding mode with that. But continue. So, when I wasn't doing the interviews and wasn't doing as many Blog Talk Radio shows, I moved over to doing more writing to get the books done. So there's just always something that we can find our way in, being creative and doing and rebranding. But quitting is just not an option. So try to stick around those people that do unite and do support. You will have to interact with the non-supporters and the naysayers. But just don't give it too much. Lizzo gave some great advice on that recently, so go over there and kind of check out what she had to say on Twitter. But, you don't want to spend too much time. Ava DeVonneray, I think even some other people kind of supported her thoughts that she shared on that. But, yeah, you don't want to overdo too much time with the naysayers, because they're chatty to distract you. They were sent for that. They don't even know that they were sent, right? So it's a spiritual thing. So it's not religion, it's spiritual. So everybody has this part that they play in your journey, and every part that they play, they may personally think that they're doing good, but they actually are sent with a negative tone, and their purpose is for a negative purpose. And you have to learn how to get balanced. I increased my meditation in order to help with this journey that I knew I was headed on with the vegan thing. And it's about focus and balance, and just you have to find yourself and get somewhere so you can identify those players that they are in your inner circle, but that they're not a part of 100% doing the best you. Why? Because they know they're out there having conversations with other people and talking negative about you, saying negative things, gossiping about your life. They know who they are. They know they're not 100 because they have something negative to say about you when they talk to other people. They just don't know how those things come back around to you, because those other people aren't as loyal to them either, because they come back trying to tell you what they said, right? So negative circles just go around and around in circles, and they really don't go any direction to the left or to the right. That's just what happens. They just stay right there. They don't move up, down, left, right. They right there. But there's a spirit that works within them when they make their way into your circle, and they can present themselves as being supporters, but they're not. They're not, and they don't even realize that they're not. But they are definitely a distraction that your balance in life has to learn how to maneuver around. And when you maneuver around distractions, then you empower even that much more. But I was not supposed to go 30 minutes, you guys. So I hope you have a great Friday. I hope this goes somewhere. If it doesn't, if you didn't like it, fast forward, rewind, it doesn't matter. Everything that you hear isn't for you. There are some faithful people that communicate with me all the time about something that I podcast. And so, hey, that's, we know where we are, and it helps. There's one that was up recently. If you guys will go look at Ep 78. So if you're on Spotify, Ep 78, episode 78, on YouTube, 78, go interact with the guy underneath there. He made some really good points about, why he's just really hateful. He's a black man, and he's hateful about dating black women. He's in a bad place with them right now, and he hopes to come out of it. But right now he can't stand black women. And the things that they bring to the table, and what has happened in his own story. So maybe some good black women could show up and unite for him. You never know. Look at that. Maybe have a matchmaking thing happen, or maybe he'll just meet somebody in another race. Who knows? All we know is that we keep the content available and I keep the comments open. A lot of people don't like to keep their comments open on YouTube because there's going to be negative people that say hurtful things, but it is what it is. What are you going to talk about? I don't like the way you look. I don't like your face. I don't like your filter. I hate your filters on your pictures. You're fake. That's a famous one. And it's like, no, bitch, I'm going to look bad. If I'm going to look bad, I'm going to look bad in my mirror. You're not going to get that on social media. So, yeah, I know you need that in your life to feel better about your lack of life, but I'm not doing that for you. So if I filter a picture, so what? I love to have fun with everything that comes out that these young people create, right? And it doesn't matter if you actually get in my circle, then you get to come around me. So you could get the unfiltered life if you wasn't such a bitch. But anyway, definitely communicate on the comments. It doesn't matter what's said when it's too negative, or it's disrespectful, or, the racists come out, it's going to get deleted. They get blocked. So what? So half the time, I'm the type of person that takes in the first 5 minutes of a movie and decides whether or not it's for me or not. I do the same with comments. I'm a speed reader. It doesn't take me long to see the tone that you're on. Once I see your tone, if it's just not something that needs to be kept up there, it's going to go. So you're not going to get any real spotlight. So you can put it up there and have a few moments and a few people will read it. But as soon as I get wind of it, it's out. So anyway, that's it, you guys. Not supposed to go on this long. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend. For those of us here in Colorado, stay warm. In Texas, stay safe around the storms and the rain that's going on. East Coast. And this is the weekend that my family is experiencing a part of some of the things that are going on in the media. So definitely keep the prayers going for just the family alone. And I don't think I have anything else on this. Hopefully you guys are reflecting on unity and support and reflecting on some things that you could just do to be better at it, and that's going to unite us even more. Once we have unity, who can really fight us, right? Who can really tear us down at that point, right? All right, that's all I have on that. I'll come back at another time. Have a great one. Okay, I get it. So you do not want to go over to different places all over the place, every podcast app. You don't want to download a bunch of things on your phone, or you just don't have the room on your phone. I solved that for you. So you can go to askdiva.onuniverse.com, go to the podcast page and just click on the various ones, take a listen, or just go to YouTube. Some people don't want to download a bunch of apps. You can just go to YouTube. Ask Diva is on YouTube. So it's various places. I'm trying to make it happen for everyone because you all use different apps. So I understand that. Do what's best for you. I'm going to make the show available on every app that I can.